The message on the phone seared into her mind with the jarring sharpness of betrayal. I'm leaving you. I met someone. Her name is Mia, and she's everything you're not. We're moving to Key West. Good luck with your moody mother. Jordan's fingers trembled as she stood in the sterile hospital room, her mother's frail form resting amongst the rhythmic beeping of machines and the muted light. The room smelled of antiseptic and whispered despair, and Jordan couldn't help but feel the chill of abandonment seep into her bones alongside the sterile air. Caleb hadn't even granted her the courtesy of a phone call. The dismissal of her was as cold and indifferent as the last 3 years of their union had been. At 29, Jordan had thought that she'd managed to construct a semblance of stability in her life. Her father had passed away during her college years, leaving her to support and care for her chronically ill mother. Caleb had never been invested in this obligation, casting it aside as mere inconvenience. She's not your responsibility, he would say dismissively, his eyes exuding frustration when Jordan stayed home to care for her mother instead of joining him for dinners or getaways. Focus on us, not her. In retrospect, Caleb's abandonment seemed inevitable, yet Jordan had harbored a misguided hope that he could change or mature into a man of substance and support. Turning off her phone, she shifted her focus back to the gentle rise and fall of her mother's chest. The promise of tomorrow seemed blurred and uncertain when the night settled in and Jordan finally returned to the quaint, now cheerless, house they once shared. Each corner, once familiar, now felt alien and hollow. As her weary eyes shifted about, they caught the glint of a diamond necklace, the keepsake from her father, resting on the dresser's edge. It appeared exactly as she had left it, though something about its weight felt unfamiliar. The clasp bore faint scratch marks that her fingers had not traced before, an indication that nagged at the corners of her mind. Exhaustion trickled into disbelief when, an hour later, her phone buzzed with a security alert. Item has been moved from its designated location, the notification declared. Her father's insistence on embedding a tracking chip now made sense. Caleb hadn't just left. He'd pilfered the genuine necklace, swapping it with a counterfeit. The reality crystallized. Caleb believed he could betray her and disappear with his new partner without consequence. Jordan clutched the fraudulent jewelry tightly, her thoughts wading through the deception. Mind racing, Jordan wondered when he had managed to make the switch. How long had the scheme been plotted? The theft had sacrilegiously intruded upon her most sacred memories. The necklace was more than a piece of artful craftsmanship. It was a tangible connection to her late father, a representation of his enduring love. Aldous and Caleb had dared to take it. Her fingers flew across her phone, accessing the tracking app that pinpointed the genuine necklace's location. The map displayed a flickering dot sitting in a pawn shop just 3 miles away. Fury flared in her veins, hot and relentless. Caleb hadn't merely abandoned her, he'd desecrated the last link Jordan had to her father. Having realized the breadth of Caleb's betrayal and escape, Jordan's mind was set on retrieving what was rightfully hers. She called the pawn shop, fighting to maintain an even tone. Hi, I'm checking on a diamond necklace that might have arrived at your shop recently. It has a security chip, and I just received an alert signaling its location. Her voice was steadied by determination, underpinning her intention to recover both the necklace and the dignity Caleb had attempted to strip away with his treachery. The silence hung thick in Jordan's apartment as she absorbed the implications of the conversation she'd just had. The voice on the phone crackled with a hint of uncertainty. Yeah, we've got a matching piece that came in today. A bloke traded it, tall, dark hair, looked a bit on edge. The words replayed in her mind, each syllable laden with the reality of betrayal. Do you still have it? She pressed, her pulse quickening. Unfortunately not, the man replied, a touch of regret in his voice. We've reported it to the authorities since it flagged as stolen. It's out of our hands now. You should reach out to them. A sense of betrayal dug deeper into Jordan's being as she processed the man's words. Her husband, Caleb, hadn't merely deserted her, he'd stripped her of trust and possession. Thieving away her father's cherished gift, he'd left a trail of incrimination behind him. Yet, amid her sorrow, a spark of resolve ignited. Caleb's dreams of escaping to Key West with his new flame and her necklace would meet a different reality. As dawn broke, Jordan connected with law enforcement and unfurled the tangled web of betrayal before them, the tracking chip's data, the pawnshop's report, and Caleb's coincidentally timed departure. Her proof sketched a compelling narrative. An FBI representative soon connected with her, laying out their course of action. "We'll manage this. High-value items like your necklace don't just vanish." Relief seeped into her for a moment, though the sentiment quickly grounded itself. That diamond necklace was far beyond mere monetary value. It embodied irreplaceable memory. As the hours passed, Jordan methodically pieced together the fractured mosaic of deceit. Caleb's treachery, she realized, had simmered beneath the surface until erupting like a calculated storm. Evidence lay scattered through his social media, a breadcrumb trail she routinely used to understand his erratic nature. There it was, a freshly posted image depicting Caleb reclining on a resplendent beach, drink in one hand, the other draped around a woman with an expression as carefree as his deceit. Living the dream, Key West style. New beginnings, the caption taunted, and anger rose in her once more, not with sorrow, but with fire. He thought himself untouchable, she thought, but he underestimated her resolve to reclaim what was taken. Determined more than ever, Jordan spent the day assembling incriminating evidence, financial records, suspicious transactions, every clue tying Caleb to his misdeeds, including receipts forwarded by the investigator from the pawnshop. Each piece framed a picture of desperation, of a man willing to betray those who supported him for a mirage of a fresh start. That evening, a call came through, the investigator sharing a breakthrough. "We tracked the funds from the pawn transaction. They're in an offshore account. We're collaborating with local authorities to freeze it and recover your necklace." Jordan's lips curled into a slight smile. Caleb's fantasy was teetering on collapse. Logging off her computer, she gripped the fake necklace, a hollow echo of her father's legacy. The burning anger within her simmered into resolve. She wasn't merely pursuing a necklace, but justice. Early the following day, she strode into the investigator's office, a folder clutched tight with determination battling against the nervous tremor in her hands. Detective Harlan met her with a reassuring handshake. "Jordan, thanks for coming in. Let's review everything you've gathered." She aligned the evidence, bank statements with marked withdrawals, erratic texts documenting Caleb's unraveling path, and those critical pawnshop receipts. "Here's everything," she maintained, voice steady and strong. "He didn't just steal the necklace. He's been funneling money for months." Detective Harlan acknowledged her findings, his gaze intent and sharp as they reviewed the tangled narrative Caleb had woven. Under the dim glow of her desk lamp, Jordan sifted through the documents that had become a lifeline of truth in her chaotic world. Detective Harlan, sitting across from her, glanced over the detailed records she had compiled. Her meticulous work had already laid a robust foundation for their case. Turning his attention to the data from the tracking device, he noted, the signal cut off when the necklace passed through customs in Key West, almost like it vanished into thin air there. "We've already alerted authorities, but international cooperation is painstaking. Cases like these need local coordination." Despite the enormity of the situation, Jordan felt something shift, a sense of solidarity amidst the betrayal Caleb, her erstwhile partner, had wrought. Detective Harlan unfolded a chart revealing Caleb's financial escapades, a tapestry of deception spun over months. Caleb had liquidated the necklace for immediate cash, yet his wealth lay nestled in offshore accounts. "We're pushing for those accounts to be frozen," Harlan continued. "If we succeed, it'll tighten the net." "Do you think he knows we're closing in?" she probed, leaning back to absorb the information. Harlan shook his head. "Men like Caleb often overestimate their invulnerability. That blinds them." Leaving the office, a cyclone of emotions whirled inside her, relief, boiling anger, but with them came a potent clarity. Caleb wasn't merely selfish, he was pathologically manipulative. That evening, Jordan called her mother. Weak yet ever supportive, her mother's voice anchored her. Their conversation reignited the fire within Jordan to fight, to reclaim not only the necklace but her dignity. Just as Jordan settled into bed, her phone blinked with a message from Harlan. The case advances. Stay strong, Jordan. We're closing in. Contentment washed over her, lulled by the assurance that justice was slow, yet inevitable. Caleb's social media became a strange obsession for Jordan, a bittersweet blend of pain and fuel for her resolve. Each post was a testament to his betrayal, but also mirrored her burgeoning determination. One morning, his latest post caught her attention, a smug selfie alongside Mia, glasses of champagne sparkling in hand. They lounged by an illustrious infinity pool, living the supposed dream. She snorted. Dreams built on deceit lacked reality substance. Detective Harlan had contacted her that morning with promising news. They had succeeded in freezing Caleb's offshore accounts. His impending panic would steer him to make a crucial mistake. As if on cue, Caleb's online antics started filtering, a lavish shopping spree narrated in fragmented updates, Mia twirling in designer dresses, unaware of the tightening vice. Eventually, a call punctuated Jordan's anticipation. Harlan's voice, now edged with urgency, relayed the breakthrough. Jordan, the Key West authorities have issued an arrest warrant based on our evidence. It's just a countdown now. The knowledge empowered her, sending a shiver of satisfaction through her. Caleb's fantasy was fraying. That evening, yet another photo surfaced, the couple cluelessly snorkeling, oblivious to the crumbling world Caleb had woven. Jordan reflected. Did Mia comprehend Caleb's depths of betrayal? Or was she blindly dancing through the chaos he orchestrated? The following day, Harlan's call resonated with resolve. Jordan, they've initiated the operation. We expect him in custody within 48 hours. Ending the call, a smile briefly lit her face. Victory and justice were within her grasp. Caleb, incarcerated in his delusions, was finally facing the storm he'd unleashed. Under the dazzling sun and the allure of clear waters, Caleb lounged with his cocktail, utterly unaware that the tide was turning to bring his grand illusion crashing down. The facade he built sentence by sentence, dollar by dollar, was on the cusp of unraveling into the chaos he merited. Days later, Jordan received the anticipated call. Jordan, we've apprehended him. Detective Harlan's voice resonated with quiet satisfaction. Caleb was taken into custody earlier today in Key West. Local enforcers intercepted him at the resort. The enormity of the revelation sent her to the nearest chair, a torrent of emotion swirling within her. What comes next? Jordan managed to ask, her voice barely steady amidst the storm of relief and anger. Key West authorities are holding him for extradition, Harlan explained. He also faces charges there for attempting to transport flagged goods. As for Mia, his voice faltered. She's not by his side. Word is, once she realized his lavish lifestyle was built on deception, she left the resort quickly. Jordan couldn't help but chuckle. The woman who was an escape plan had slipped away at the first sign of turbulence. It was poetic justice, harsh and ironic. Later that day, Jordan's social media had become a window into the scandal. Images and updates flooded her timeline. A striking shot captured Caleb, handcuffed and boxed in by stern officers, walking out of the resort. His sunglasses, once symbols of his bravado, now shielded a gaze far removed from confidence. The caption underneath read, "Drama unfolds, luxury life interrupted. Arrested. Not everyone finds paradise bliss." For the next hour, the spectacle unfolded before her eyes. Mia had meticulously erased every trace of their so-called paradise from her profiles, as if eradicating any association with the illusion spun around their lives. Murmurs from keen observers speculated she had already vanished back home, leaving Caleb to wallow alone in the shadow of his deceit. Detective Harlan soon messaged her, "The extradition is moving ahead. He'll face charges here, too. Rest assured, our case is strong. He won't escape this time." Slowly, a quiet sense of peace bloomed within Jordan. Caleb, believing he could rob her of her father's necklace, her finances, and her dignity, now languished in a Key West jail with no escape. And Mia? The romance that once consumed them had dissipated like smoke in the wind. In the solitude of her living room, the fake necklace in her palm, Jordan felt a sense of justice she hadn't known since it all began. Caleb's betrayal had once shattered her world, but now it was he who faced the consequences. The morning after Caleb's arrest, sunlight streamed through her window, enveloping her in warmth. The oppressive weight she had carried seemed to lift at last. She felt liberated. Her first instinct was to visit her mother at the hospital. Seated at her bedside, Jordan shared the news, whispering, "He's finally facing justice." Her mother's gentle squeeze of her hand, accompanied by the unwavering wisdom in her eyes, affirmed, "You're stronger than you know, Jordan. Always have been." These words lingered long after Jordan left. Despite heartbreaks and trials, she had stood tall. She hadn't let Caleb's treachery overwhelm her. Instead, she fought back, and now she could focus on what mattered, rebuilding her life. She began with small acts, removing Caleb's remnants from her home. Clothes, cologne, the absurd souvenirs, all bagged up, carted away. With every tossed piece, she felt lighter, shedding not just belongings, but the emotional baggage that had accumulated. Pouring more energy into her mother's care, Jordan ensured her well-being, coordinating treatments and providing whatever was needed. Her mother's faint, grateful smile served as a beacon, a reminder of why all the battles were worth it. A fresh resolve coursed through Jordan as she stepped into the career that had once defined her ambitions and dreams. She wasn't entirely starting over. Caleb had depleted some funds, but the remainder, wisely preserved, provided a solid springboard. So, she phoned Nina, her former boss, whose belief in her capabilities had never wavered. Listening to Jordan's recount of the past turmoil, Nina's response was instant. "Come back when you're ready. We've missed your spark here." These words were more than just an offer. They were a lifeline. Within weeks, Jordan returned to the office, diving into projects that rekindled her passion. The familiar rhythms of work restored a semblance of normalcy, yet Jordan promised herself to maintain boundaries. No longer would she sacrifice her time to placate someone else's demands. Her evenings were her own, a sanctuary she intended to keep that way. Reconnecting with old friends brought a breath of rejuvenation to her world. Over lattes and long, reflective chats, Jordan realized how much she had missed these connections. They reminded her of who she was before Caleb had clouded her independence and drive. A ritual of journaling each night helped her process the chaos. With pen in hand, she captured moments of anger, relived sighs of sadness, but also celebrated the resilience she had rediscovered. One night, as Jordan sorted through forgotten photographs, her father's face emerged. His wide smile frozen in time, the cherished necklace glinting in the sun just as it nestled now, safe and secure, within her jewelry box. "I did it, Dad," she whispered to the image, pride swelling in her chest. He didn't win. The morning following her bittersweet reflection, Jordan vowed to herself, no more dwelling on a past that bore Caleb's shadow. His chapter was closed, and it was time to invest in herself, her mother, and the promising horizons that lay ahead. The tranquility of an evening was punctured by an unexpected message. The unknown number held a name, Mia. Instinct tightened her grip. This was the woman who had unwittingly helped Caleb fracture her world. Indignation flared, but curiosity nudged her into action. Hesitation ebbed away as she dialed, the line connecting swiftly. Mia's voice wavered. It was laced with uncertainty. "Thank you for calling, Jordan. I'm so sorry for everything. I didn't understand the depths of Caleb's deceit." Initially, Jordan held her silence, letting the tension pass to Mia. "What do you want?" she finally inquired, sharp yet poised. Mia's exhale trembled with regret. "When I met him, he painted you as the one seeking divorce, claiming you were controlling, cold, always putting your mom first. But after his arrest, I saw the lies unravel. His stories didn't add up, his finances, even the origin of that necklace. When I learned it was stolen, I couldn't bear the deception. I left him the day they took him. I came home, trying to understand the mess I'd stepped into. You deserve to know the truth." Jordan's laugh was tinged with bitterness. "So, what am I supposed to do?" Offer forgiveness? Sympathy. Her query cut through the lines. Neither, Mia rushed to clarify. I don't deserve that. I just needed to say sorry and to let you know Caleb didn't just hurt you. He hurt me too. He's a master at manipulation. Mia's words soaked into the silence. Jordan considered the sincerity behind them. Trust hung in balance, yet recognition of shared manipulation bound them momentarily. Thank you for the apology, she replied, her voice steady and resolute. But it doesn't change my path. I'm moving forward, and I suggest you do the same. Mia's shaky breath hinted at the release in her acknowledgement. I will. Jordan sat quietly, the screen of her phone casting a pale glow as she processed Mia's words. Despite the chaos Caleb had caused, there was a strange validation in knowing his lies had finally unraveled. Yet, this moment wasn't about others. It was about her journey forward. She left the conversation behind, determined to focus on her emerging future, shutting out any remnants of the past that tried to linger. On a brisk Tuesday morning, the ring of a phone call drew Jordan's attention. Detective Harlan's voice, calm and certain, held a note of optimism that caught her ear. Jordan, I've got great news. The necklace has been recovered and is coming back to you. You should have it by the end of the week. Relief flooded her, the kind that brought an unexpected mix of closure and joy. Thank you, she replied, her steady voice betraying the depth of her gratitude. This news meant more than she ever anticipated. And there's more, Harlan continued. Caleb's trial is scheduled. Given the charges and evidence, he's looking at a long while behind bars. Justice is finally catching up. Those words fell into place like the last stone in a strong foundation. Jordan's heart swelled with satisfaction. Caleb, who had tried to dismantle her life, now faced the consequences of his choices. When the call ended, Jordan allowed herself a moment of reflective peace. The necklace, that vivid tether to her dad's love and enduring strength, would soon be back in her care. Caleb's acts of theft were nothing more than vain attempts to destabilize her life, yet all they did was reveal her inner resilience. The moment the necklace arrived, Jordan visited the investigator's office to retrieve what was rightfully hers. As it glimmered in her hands, she felt a wave of tranquility, the jewel as vibrant as the day her father placed it around her neck. It signified resilience, a testament to all she had overcome. That evening, by her mother's hospital bedside, Jordan wore the necklace, its shine catching her mother's eye and lighting it with recognition. It's beautiful, her mother murmured, words barely breaking above a whisper. It's home, Jordan replied, holding her mother's frail hand with affection and resolve. An idea sparked in Jordan then, a plan for a trip that could offer her mother moments of happiness. It would be somewhere serene, a place her father cherished as a child, promising no stress, just tranquility and the creation of new memories. The following morning, she broached the idea. Once you're better, we're going, she promised, showing her mother photos of the idyllic coastal town, the delight in her mother's smile reaffirming her decision. This venture wasn't solely about the destination. It represented a reclamation of joy, a bold step beyond the shadows of their past. As Jordan sorted through her belongings that night, an unshakable calm settled over her. The storm Caleb had brought upon her life had passed. The future was open, a canvas upon which she would paint her new life, one thoughtful step at a time.